If you master trend lines, you still won't get rich quick and you still won't be able to quit your job tomorrow. But that's also not the point. My name is Philip. I've been trading trend lines for 5 years. I'm not aiming to get rich quick. I'm not aiming to quit my job tomorrow. I make a decent amount of money trading trend lines and no one absolutely cares. If you watch this video until the very end, you will know everything which you need in order to properly trade trend lines. But before you watch this video, I highly encourage you to also watch the support and resistance video, because trend lines are just a more sophisticated way of trading support and resistance. So you have to understand everything regarding support and resistance so you can properly understand what I'm about to tell you regarding trend lines. In this trend line guide, I will cover 4 topics. First of all, what are trend lines? Why do trend lines actually work? How you can identify trend lines and how you can then make money trading trend lines. We as traders still have to manage risk. Otherwise, the markets will act like a ruthless judge. That's also similar to support and resistance. We as traders simply use trend lines in order to manage our risk on any given trade. If you master trend line trading, you will simply avoid massive losses, you will avoid emotional trading, you will have a clear trading strategy, and you will avoid unrealistic expectations. You will have consistent growth and objective and repetitive analysis, proven strategy, and a realistic approach when it comes to trading. Also, trend lines are absolutely nothing magical. They're just a simple way for us as traders to properly manage risk. Let's immediately start with the first point. What are bullish trend lines? Bullish trend lines, again quite similar to support and resistance, are an area of buying interest. You have many large buy orders, a typical market reversal level, and you simply again have to think of a price floor. If a market drops and actually hits a valid trend line, which I will go over in just a second, you do expect it to act as a floor and to push price higher. This is what a simple trend line looks like. It looks very similar to support and resistance, with the only difference that it's not a horizontal level, but you rather do have a diagonal bullish trend line. Vice versa, obviously, we also have bearish trend lines, which are simply an area of selling interest where you have a lot of large sell orders, typically big institutions, and you do expect the market to reverse at this level. In this case, obviously, it's not a floor, it's actually a diagonal price ceiling. So if a market rises and hits a trend line, you do expect the trend line to act as a ceiling and you do expect a rejection away towards the downside. First example of what a bearish trend line looks like, you can see market is rising, hitting the trend line, we do have a rejection. Again, market is rising, hitting the trend line, we do have a rejection. When it comes to trend lines, we can then use the reversal nature of trend lines in order to develop a market trading edge. It's very simple. If we do have a clear defined structure on the chart, and in this case it's a trend line, we do expect the market to hit this trend line and either reverse towards the downside, or if it's a bullish trend line, reverse towards the upside. And we can simply use this reversal nature in order to make money. Now, why do trend lines actually work? Also right here we have 4 major reasons. First of all, they're psychological market levels. A lot of retail traders, including me, are looking at trend lines. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, but in this case it just becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You do have institutional orders, and trend lines just are general liquidity zones where you do have a lot of buy or selling orders, and therefore you do expect significant moves away from these trend lines. Big institutions still buy at major levels because they look at price rather than any fundamental news. Big institutions don't look at any news at all. They're just looking at the chart. They're thinking, well, this is a cheap price. Let me buy right here at this trend line. The way you can identify bullish trend lines is actually quite similar to how you can identify support and resistance. First of all, you do need a diagonal level where price reverses at least 2 times with a significant rejection towards the upside. This is what a bullish trend line looks like. We do have a diagonal level, we do have multiple rejections away towards the upside, and going through our 5 criteria: diagonal level, reversal, at least 2 times, significant rejection towards the upside, and voila, we have our bullish support trend line. bearish support trend line, basically just the exact opposite, but still our 5 steps. We do need a diagonal level where price reverses at least 2 times with a significant rejection towards the downside. If we just look at the chart and what this looks like, again, we do have a diagonal level, multiple rejections away towards the downside, going through our 5 criteria: diagonal level, reversal, 2 times, significant rejection towards the downside, and voila, you identified a valid resistance trend line. When it comes to spotting these trend lines, again, there is also no 100% objective view of the charts. Everyone, including me, considers different moves to be significant and important. Therefore, everybody will have slightly different trend lines. Just find a way which fits you, looking at the 5 criteria, and you will be fine and you will make money trading trend lines. Finally, we also have to make money trading trend lines, so here is how you trade them. First of all, you have to identify a clear bullish trend line looking at the 5 criteria which I just mentioned. Then you have to wait for a retest of the trend line, look for signs of confirmation, which I will cover in a separate video regarding the entire confirmation topic, and then you simply have to enter a long position at the bullish trend line. If we take a look at what this looks like on the chart, you can see we do have our 5 criteria: massive reversal twice, significant rejection away towards the upside. We identified our bullish support trend line. We're now waiting for a simple retest of the trend line, then confirmation, which I will cover in a separate video. You enter a long and you're trying to capitalize on a rejection away towards the upside from this support trend line. Vice versa, if we're looking at how to trade bearish trend lines, we again have to identify a clear bearish trend line looking at the 5 criteria. Then we have to wait for a retest of this bearish trend line. We have to look for signs of confirmation, separate video, and then we can simply go ahead and enter a short position at the bearish trend line. Looking at the chart, we identified a clear bearish trend line looking at the 5 criteria. Then we're simply waiting for a retest of the trend line. We're looking for signs of confirmation, and then we simply enter a short position at the bearish trend line. Also, with trend lines, it's actually very important that you don't trade them in a vacuum, but you always use trend analysis, price action, market structure, and confirmation with it in order to significantly improve the odds of the actual trade playing out. If you want to see real-life examples of me actually trading those trend lines, just click the first link in the description and join the 100% free elite trading community. If you have any questions regarding trend lines, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to help you out with everything. Now you know everything which you need in order to trade trend lines. I'll see you in my next video. Keep your long-term vision.